This is a photograph of Zoe, my granddaughter, and we took her on a Disney cruise a couple of years ago. And I took this photo while she was sitting at the table in one of the dining rooms. And I thought it was really cute. I thought I would make some memory photo of this particular event. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is to go to background and do a Control J, then shut off this background. So I've only been doing this. And I want you to know also that I've loaded a photo of the Disney ship that we were on. I'll show you a bit of that in a moment. So let's work on Zoe. And I want to do a quick selection of just Zoe herself. So here we go. There's enough contrast here so that it does a pretty good job of selecting her hair, which is a bit unusual sometimes because hair is a tough thing to select. And here we go. Down through here, here. Let's get this and her fingers. And I'm going to do a Control J. And now you're going to see what's happened is that if I shut this off, now my next step, let's say, for example, that we're behind layer 1. We're not going to use the layer 1 anymore, at least for a bit. We're going to go to the photo bin, and we're just going to move the ship right on top of her. And this is obviously the ship that she was on. Now what I want to do is to use the move tool and just move that ship right up above there. Let's go back to the layer, this layer for a moment, and move Zoe using the move tool up a bit to about there. Let's say about there. And perhaps make her a little bit smaller there. And you notice that whenever you want to do a move, you have to make sure that now, if I move the ship down, and Zoe will be the top layer. And there we have it. So now we can see that Zoe. Right? And let's say that I want to make Zoe just a little bit smaller. And I do that. And I'm just going to move her up. Just about there. The intent, of course, is to get her and the ship in the same photo. And there we have it. Now, the thing I want to do about layer 2, which is Zoe here, is just to soften her skin a little bit. So all I'm going to do here is go to Enhance, Adjust. Let's adjust hue and saturation first. And just move it up just a little bit. You see, it's giving her a little bit more of a skin tone. And say OK. And now what I want to do is to crop this photo right about there. And say OK. And now this is the photo that we're working on. Now we're still here on, we're going to go back to layer 2. And let's soften Zoe's skin by selecting filter. Let's go down to blur, which we've done before in other photos with skin, and do just a surface blur. And you can see what's happened here, just softened her skin. Now it may be too soft. So let's go right in the middle of her face and just move it just a hair. This is the original. It's hardly noticeable, but there is a little tiny blur to it. Okay. And just say OK. And at the same time, let's do Enhance here and use the Unsharp Mask. Unsharp Mask is confusing because it really sharpens a photo, and we're just doing it to layer 2. So let's go to here, and you're going to see the amount of sharpening that you can do. Okay. Move this threshold up a little bit and just sharpen. Put something else over here to perhaps show some birds or whatever it is. And so prior to this, I went to the graphics folder, and this is something that are backgrounds that you can use that Photoshop Elements has actually allowed you to use. And I moved one to my favorites, and it's called Nature. And I just double click on that, and go back to layers, and you're going to see that there's a background here which shows some birds. It's a yellowish background. And what I'm going to do at this point is move that background all the way up above everything. This is it. And now I'm going to lower the opacity so that background is actually going to come through to right about there. Okay. Now, let's say that I want Zoe to be a little bit more prominent. So I'm taking Zoe in layer 2 and I'm moving her up. And there we have it. All right. So now this background layer is now in front of the ship, and Zoe is in front of everything. And there we have it. So what we started with was this, and we ended up with the ship, the background, and the layer.